For your entire life, you were told that the smartest people win. Get the best grades, learn the most, become the expert. But there is a problem with that belief, and it is about to cost millions of people their careers. The half-life of a professional skill in 1987 was 26 years. Learn something valuable, and you could ride it for most of your career. By 2020, that number had dropped to 4 years. And right now in 2026, it is 2.5 years. Your skills lose half their value every 2.5 years. That is not a gradual decline, that is an avalanche. And the people who will survive it are not the ones who know the most. They are the ones who learn the fastest. For decades, the formula was simple. Pick a field, study it deeply, become the expert in the room. And that worked because knowledge was genuinely scarce. If you understood tax law, or surgery, or how to write software, you had leverage, real measurable leverage. The entire education system was built around this model. Spend 4 years, sometimes 8, sometimes 12, absorbing specialized information. Then deploy that knowledge for 30 years. The return on investment was obvious, and nobody questioned it, because for most of modern history, it was true. But here is what changed. The thing that made expertise valuable was its scarcity. When only a few thousand people understood patent law, each one of them was worth a fortune. When only trained engineers could run simulations, they commanded premium salaries. Scarcity created value, and now scarcity is collapsing. A large language model can now pass the bar exam in the 90th percentile. It can diagnose medical conditions with accuracy that rivals specialists. It can write functional code, draft legal briefs, analyze financial statements, and generate marketing strategies. Not perfectly, not every time, but well enough. And well enough is all it takes to destroy the scarcity premium. This is where most people stop thinking. They hear that AI can do some of what experts do, and they either panic or dismiss it. But the deeper shift is not about AI replacing experts. It is about what happens to the value of accumulated knowledge when the cost of accessing that knowledge drops to near zero. Think about it this way. The knowledge you spent 4 years earning in college, someone can now access in 4 minutes using the right AI tool. Your expertise did not disappear. Its exclusivity did. And in economics, when supply becomes infinite, price goes to zero. Now here is where this gets really interesting. The data does not just show that old skills are dying, it shows that the replacement cycle is accelerating. Upwork reported that demand for AI-related skills more than doubled in a single year. The number of workers in jobs requiring AI fluency grew 7-fold, from roughly 1 million in 2023 to nearly 7 million by 2025. 7-fold, in 2 years. And 60% of required competencies in technology roles now turn over within 3 years. That means if you master a technical skill today, the majority of what you learned will be outdated before your next lease expires. Here's what makes this so difficult to accept. You did everything right. You followed the instructions. You studied hard, earned the credentials, built the expertise. And now someone is telling you that the shelf life of everything you worked for is shorter than a phone contract. That is not your fault. You were running the program that was installed in you, but the program is outdated now, and continuing to run it is the most dangerous thing you can do. This is the part that should change how you think about your entire career strategy. The old model said accumulate, stack credentials, build a tower of expertise. The new model says something completely different. It says the tower is made of sand. And the only thing that holds is your ability to rebuild. The researchers call it learning velocity. Not what you know, but how fast you can learn what you do not know yet. Not the size of your knowledge base, but the speed of your knowledge turnover. And this is not a soft skill. It is measurable, it is trainable, and it is becoming the single most valuable professional attribute in the economy. 70% of employers now use skill-based hiring for entry-level roles, not degree-based, skill-based. They do not care what you studied, they care what you can demonstrate, and more importantly, they care how quickly you picked it up. Because the companies that survive in this environment are the ones staffed by people who can pivot in months, not years. This is the reason self-taught developers are getting hired over computer science graduates, not because they know more, but because the act of teaching yourself signals exactly the trait employers are desperate for. The ability to learn without being told how, the willingness to figure it out, the capacity to acquire a new skill stack when the old one expires. That is learning velocity, and you cannot get it from a classroom. There is a pattern among the people who are thriving right now. They are not the ones with the longest resumes. They are the ones who treat it every year like a fresh start. They learned video editing when content exploded. They learned prompt engineering when AI tools launched. They learned no-code platforms when building software became accessible to everyone. They did not wait for permission or a curriculum. They moved. So what does this actually mean for you? It means the question is no longer what should I learn? The question is how fast can I learn it, apply it, and move to the next thing when this one becomes obsolete. It means you should stop optimizing for depth and start optimizing for speed of acquisition. Not shallow knowledge, strategic speed, the ability to go from zero to functional in weeks, not years. Here is a concrete framework. First, identify the skill with the highest current leverage in your field. Not the most prestigious, the most leveraged, the one that multiplies your output. Right now, for most knowledge workers, that is AI fluency, the ability to use AI tools to amplify what you already do. Second, give yourself a 30-day sprint, not a 4-year degree. 30 days of focused project-based learning, build something real, ship it, use the output as proof of competence. Third, track your cycle time. How long does it take you to go from knowing nothing about a skill to being competent enough to create value with it? That number, your cycle time, is your new career metric, not your title, not your salary, your learning speed. And fourth, build the habit of letting go. This is the hardest part. The old programming says, hold on to what you know. Protect your expertise. Defend your position. The new reality says your position is temporary. Every skill you have is depreciating. And the ones who thrive are the ones who release the old and grab the new without hesitation. McKinsey projects that nearly half of all workers will need reskilling by 2030. Half. That is not a prediction about some distant future. That is 4 years from now. And the gap is not between the skilled and the unskilled. The gap is between the fast and the slow. Between those who can reinvent themselves on a 2-year cycle and those still clinging to what they learned a decade ago. You were programmed to believe that learning ends, that you study, you graduate, you arrive. But arrival is an illusion. There is no destination. There is only the next adaptation. The people who win in this economy are not the ones with the most impressive resumes. They are the ones who can throw their resume away and build a new one in 90 days. That is the skill nobody taught you. That is the upgrade the old system never installed. Learning velocity, not what you know, how fast you can know what is next. The old programming says be the smartest person in the room. The new programming says be the fastest learner in the building. Reprogram yourself, or spend the rest of your career watching faster learners pass you by.